Body Snatcher right here. It's a champ. Big up to Sporting Icon. Subscribe. Otherwise, I might pay you guys a visit.
So I heard a little while ago that the WBC have announced their Bridgerweight division rankings. And I never really thought to look too much because I haven't seen anything from the WBA, IBF or WBO that would suggest that they are on board with this Bridgerweight division. But by the looks of it, at least looking at the weights, I can presume that they are. Even though they haven't come out with their own rankings so far, it's only the WBC that have, which of course I'll get through in a minute. But with the way that they have adjusted the limits to fit in the Bridgerweight, it appears that the other sanctioning bodies have agreed that the heavyweight limit will be from 224 pounds onwards. Okay, so that quite clearly has been adjusted to accommodate the Bridgerweight division, but in time we'll find out. Now, when I look at the rankings for the Bridgerweight division, I ain't gonna lie, I don't know who half these cats are. Honestly, I don't. Of course, some of them are gonna be small heavyweights who have moved down. Some of them are gonna be cruiserweights who've moved up to this new Bridgerweight division. But I think it'll be pretty hardcore to know each and every one of these. In fact, I wouldn't imagine anybody does. If they do, either they're lying or they are extreme hardcore, especially if they're not using BoxRec to have a look. But for me, I'm just being honest, I don't know who half them are. But of course, the ones that I do know, of course, I'm going to pull out. Number one, Oscar Rivas. He's got a knockout win over Bryant Jennings. And of course, a points loss to Dillian Whyte. This is where Dillian Whyte became the WBC interim world heavyweight champion. So Oscar Rivas, sure, he's a good fighter. I was a little bit surprised to see his name in here, to be honest with you. But hey, it is what it is. Other ones that I know, Evander Romanov, outstanding amateur. We know that he's the one who iced Deontay Wilder in the amateurs. I'm a little surprised that he's here, but in some ways not. I mean, he's not the biggest heavyweight in the world, but he is undefeated as a heavyweight. Who's he beat? Okay, that would be an argument, really, because I think that Evander Romanov, he has been taking on some gatekeepers, journeymen, that kind of thing. But so far, he's looked okay. Sure, he's had a prolonged period out of the ring ever since retiring from the amateurs to joining up with the heavyweight rank. So I think it's about a 6 or 7 year gap, I think it was. But anyway, it is what it is. Evander Romanov, number 5. Number 6, Bryant Jennings. Of course, we've just spoke about him, where he lost to Oscar Rivas by knockout and lost on points to Joe Joyce, where a lot of people felt that Bryant Jennings beat Joe Joyce. But Bryant Jennings, he's been around the block a couple of times. Of course, he once challenged for the heavyweight titles or the unified titles when Vladimir Klitschko was champion. That's where Bryant Jennings took his first loss, where he lost on points. Very next fight, he lost by stoppage to Luis Ortiz. But Bryant Jennings, okay, cool. But again, I was surprised because he's not the biggest guy in the world, but I thought that he might be a bit too heavy for this one, but hey, it is what it is. Number 7, Artur Szpilka. Again, been around the block several times. In fact, he was beating Deontay Wilder from pillar to post up until he got brutally sparked cold. Okay, but Artur Szpilka, of course, he has been in with a few other people. He's got a win over Mariusz Wach. He got stopped by Derek Chisora not so long ago as well. But he's there or thereabouts. Is he a good candidate for Bridgerweight? Yeah, maybe, because he's not going in there with absolute killers at the minute, is he? Which the heavyweight division, of course, holds. So fair play for that one. Alan Babic, number 8. He's Dillian Whyte's guy. Dillian Whyte manages Alan Babic. We've seen Alan Babic here in the UK. Last time out, defeated Tom Little. And I think Alan Babic at the Bridgerweight, I mean, this is something that I said a while ago, that I think Alan Babic will be suited to the Bridgerweight division. But of course, the Bridgerweight division at the minute is not where the money is. The money is where the heavyweight division is. So if Babic ever wants to fight with Filip Hrgović, he's going to have to move up. He's going to have to put on a little bit of weight and make sure that he weighs in at above the 224 pound limit. You would presume, right? But Marco Huck, number 10. Marco Huck, he's a decent fighter. In fact, he's been in some pretty good fights, to be honest with you, and he does have some pretty good wins, but he does have a couple of losses as well. He's a career cruiserweight, but of course he has had a couple of fights at heavyweight. But I say fair play for him to be in the Bridgerweight division. Number 10 is what it is. Number 11, I've heard of him, Bilal Lagoon, but I've never watched him, so it is what it is. And Isaac Chamberlain, of course, we know about him. Only one loss in his career to Lawrence Okolie, and one of the worst fights I've ever seen in my life. But other than that, I don't really know who everybody else is. Not without looking, and I ain't going to cheat and pretend that I do know. But honestly, I don't know. But that is the Bridgerweight division rankings for the top 15. Now, I wouldn't be at all surprised if we see Wilder in there at some point. for me, he's kind of like a natural fit for the Bridgerweight division. He could be almost the flag bearer for the Bridgerweight division to give that division a little bit of hype. We could see Alexander Usyk, if he does end up fighting, say, Joe Joyce and loses to Joe Joyce next, I would fully expect to see Alexander Usyk in this particular division. There's no point in him going back to cruiserweight. He's already dominated that. He's former undisputed champion. So I would fully expect him to be in here and a couple of others. Anyway, that's the news for the Bridgerweight division. Be interested to see what the other sanctioning bodies do in the not too distant future. I would imagine that they'll be fully on board with this one. It's an extra belt. What does that mean? Extra money, doesn't it? Extra fees, sanctioning fees. So anyway, that is the Bridgerweight division. Drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you all in the next video.